We're
Mm,
seeing that activity picking up. We're seeing the interest rates
good.
going down, holding steady
Mhm.
down there. The market is slowly picking up. We're seeing more
Okay.
homes being listed for sale and more buyers looking for
Mhm.
properties. So
So
I think
that's
it's going to be a
good.
very active spring market, which is good news for both buyers and sellers. And
Absolutely. So good to see you again, George, and nice meeting you, Vince. We missed you last time, actually. So I'm very thrilled to see you today.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah.
yeah, it's great to see you. Great to be back on the show.
So what's the topic for today?
Yeah, Vince and I were actually just looking at the quarterly data for real estate sales
Mm.
here in Kitchener-Waterloo, and
Hmm.
we were noticing some interesting trends. So, if it's okay
Okay,
with you, we'll break those down a
please.
little bit and let you know what's been happening.
I think everybody's looking for the news. Everybody's watching the news. And before you start, when I actually use my phone for Google, for example, it's always showing me the news, and every single day the mortgage rate adjusts. What's all about? It's not the official, or is the official? Why I'm seeing different rates every single day?
Yeah, no, well, so with variable rates, there's a set
Mm,
date where the Bank of Canada announces what they'll be doing, whether they're holding the rates, increasing,
mm,
decreasing. But the
okay.
fixed rates, they're determined by the bond yields, and those can change on a daily basis. So if you're seeing kind of rates going up, down every day,
Mm,
that's more related to the fixed rates. And
okay.
actually, the fixed rates we've seen coming down in the last part of 2023 and the early part of 2024. They've been held
Mm,
steady for a little while now, for a few weeks. Whereas the variable rate, it's been held steady for quite a bit longer.
I
So there's
know.
two
I
different
know.
types of interest rates, right? The variable and the fixed, and that's why you can kind
Okay.
of see that difference sometimes
Ah, okay.
in the
Thanks
news
so
article.
much. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. I was like, what's going on there? Well, why people get confused? I got confused. So, but I'm not an expert. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, what's new in the Kitchener Waterloo area?
Yeah, so we've seen quite a bit of changes from first quarter last year to
Mm,
first quarter this year. The big one, of course, is in detached home sale prices. So the average for the first 3 months last year was 905,000. The average for the first 3 months this year is 945,000. So we're seeing that
mhm.
increase, and that's not just inflation. That's actually buyer demand
Okay.
coming back into the market, and then the fixed rates we were talking about making
Mm,
people be able to afford more, and it's adding that to that
mm.
demand.
Okay. So that's a good
Yeah,
thing. I suppose, right?
it's a good thing if you're a homeowner. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for the market to kind of keep
Mm,
a steady pace of increasing. We don't want to increasing
yeah.
too much, but we also don't want to see it going down because a lot of people own property. But we've noticed a few interesting things in other segments of the market. So, for example, semi-detached homes and condos have been behaving quite differently, right?
hmm Yeah, so semi-detached, they actually dropped on a year-over-year quarterly basis.
Mm,
So last year they were around 697,000 on average, and this year they're around 666,000 on average. And that kind of
mm.
got us thinking, like, what happened there? Like, how come the semi-detached
Yes.
dropped? And we came up with a few different reasons. So first of all,
Okay.
semi-detached homes, they tend to be on the older side. So they were really popular 20 plus years ago, and not many
Mm.
builders are building semi-detached, but they are still
Anymore.
building a lot of new detached homes, townhomes,
Mhm.
and apartment condos. So that's one
Okay.
factor. The semis, they tend to be a little bit older in age. That might mean they need a little bit more maintenance,
Mm.
upkeep. You need to fix things up front. Another reason is that there's just less sales per month with the semi-detached homes,
Mhm.
and that can have, a greater impact and skew the data on the average scale. So there was
Mhm.
only in January, there was only 10 semi-detached homes that sold in comparison to 93 detached homes, right? So that can have
Okay.
an impact. And then the third thing is,
Mhm.
when given that, given the fact that there's less sales going on, we want to take a look at the median price as well, just to get a full story. And on
Okay.
the median scale, they only dropped by about $6,000 on the
Mm.
quarter Q1 2023 to Q1 2024. So that tells us that there were quite a few semi-detached on the lower end that skewed that number down a
Mm,
little bit. So a more
okay.
realistic, I would say, explanation for it is semi-detached. They kind of held steady year over year, didn't
Mm.
actually drop as much as the average sale would indicate.
Yeah, exactly. Which actually is a great property type for first-time home buyers to target for those
I was,
reasons.
yeah, I was about saying that it's appealing and it's good for investment as well, right? If it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's great for
it's also good
investment,
for.
great as a first-time home buyer. You don't have
Mm,
condo fees. You just might have to do a
mm,
little bit of work up front, to update it. You're not going to get a brand new
yeah,
updated property.
yeah, I know. But you are
Yeah.
anyway doing it. If it's a not like a brand new house, you are still, you don't want to. I mean, every time I moved in a different house, even was remodeled, it wasn't my style, my taste. So we did it. So I don't think it's a big of a deal. So I'm pretty sure there are people out there, they want to pay less for the property, but they want to
Mhm.
do themselves maybe a little bit of renovations, a little bit of investments. So I would do it. I would
Yeah.
gladly, honestly, with my husband. This is what we love doing it. We take this as a project, and we're actually doing the way we like it. And we remodeled actually a 100-year-old house
Wow.
in Crystal
Nice.
Beach, and nobody believed us because we tear down the walls, we paint, we did everything from scratch, and it looks like,
Mhm.
honestly, like a really like a new house. So I think, yeah, and people
Yeah.
can
What was your
actually do whatever
experience
they
like with
want.
the 100-year-old house when you opened up the walls? Did you find any interesting stuff in there?
Ooh, a few things. One was a packet of cigarettes, Marlboro, very, very old. Then we
Yeah.
found some newspapers. So whomever did build, yeah. So back in like I can't even remember the exact, but it was like almost 100-year-old newspaper, uh,
Wow.
in the wall, built in the wall. Like I don't know why. And
Yeah.
also we found cutlery, like silver, like real
Oh
silver
Oh,
wow.
wow.
cutlery, but not the full set, just a few items. But I was like, and some coins, and we have the coins. So that was interesting. To
Yeah.
That's very
yeah,
That's
that
really
interesting.
cool.
was
Yeah.
I've seen
and
like when people do renovations and like let's say you're doing a kitchen or something, the
mhm.
previous owner leaves like a note that says, "Ah, I see you're finally ripping out my old kitchen."
I like
Oh, that's
that.
funny.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
anything else in your ends about market?
Yeah, I would say light at the end of the tunnel for sure. We're
Mm,
seeing that activity picking up. We're seeing the interest rates
good.
going down, holding steady
Mm,
down there. The market is slowly picking up. We're seeing more
okay.
homes being listed for sale and more buyers looking for
Hmm.
properties. So
So
I think
that's
it's going to be a
good.
very active spring market, which is good news for both buyers and sellers.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's just important to be prepared, is all I can say to people that
Mm.
are thinking about entering the market, whether it's from the sale side or from the buy side.
Mhm.
Just make sure that you're prepared because I do expect it to be a busy spring market this year.
So can you elaborate a little bit in how can they get prepared? How they can prepare for?
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to touch on buyers?
Yeah. So if you're a buyer, number one thing that you can do is, well, first of all, find a real estate agent that can help you out. You want to interview a few different ones, check them out, do
Mm,
your background research, and then have a
mhm.
meeting with them, see if if you vibe, if you gel together, and then
Okay.
also get a pre-approval. Right. So speak with a mortgage broker, get that
Okay.
pre-approval so you can lock in your rate. You can hold that rate for
Mm,
3 to 4 months, and that way you're
okay.
protected. If the interest rates, out of the blue, if they actually increase again,
Again.
you're at least
Mm.
locked into your rate, right? But if
Mhm.
they drop, you can always take advantage of the lower interest rate. So,
Okay.
getting that pre-approval, it's not too difficult. You speak with a mortgage broker, you get a few documents over to them, and if you're worried about the credit score getting impacted, that's not even that big of a,
Mm.
a worry. It drops like 6 points. You get that back in 45 days. So it's
Okay.
not really not that big of an
It's good to
issue to
know.
go out and get that pre-approval.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And then
Okay.
for sellers, it's just making sure that your home stands out, especially with spring around the
Mm.
corner. Spruce up
Mm.
that curb appeal. make sure the interior stands out. If you work with a real
Yeah.
estate agent who knows what they're doing, they're able to guide you and help you and make your home stand out online against the
Mm,
competition and deliver it to
of
as many
course.
buyers as possible. And someone who
Yeah.
understands what's going on with the market and the market trends and is going to
Hmm.
capitalize on the fact that prices have increased so you make a little bit more on the sale of your property.
Yeah. So in your experience, and I'm pretty sure you've got some resistance from like clients saying, "Oh, my house looks great. I don't need any improvements." So what do you recommend, or how do you handle these objection when, because people, they love their homes, they're like, they touch,
Yeah,
especially if they do the remodeling by themselves. Can you imagine? Is their baby? I mean, you can't even like say
yeah,
anything or like bad about it, but still, realistic speaking, because you want to help them sell the house. So you have to be realistic and you have to deliver not so very good news about the house. So how can you handle, what do you recommend in this situation? Because it can be tricky, right? Can be sometimes not pleasant.
yeah. Yeah, it's tricky because it's everybody's house, and the thing is, you have to understand that when you're selling your home, it now becomes a product. It's no longer your home. So you have
I
to
like
package it
that. I like
like a
that very
product,
much.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like an iPhone, right? Like fresh out of the box, every iPhone looks the same, and then you go in and you customize it and you put your photos and everything on it. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with your house. You want it, package it where it appeals to the most people, and most people
Yeah.
don't live in a staged house, so it's not necessarily something negative against you that, you need to make some
Mhm.
changes to stage your home for the market. It's just getting it in that state where it looks really good in photos, it looks really good when people walk through, they can imagine
Yeah.
themselves in there. And most of us
Mhm.
don't live in a house like that. We have things everywhere. It's much more convenient to
Yeah, I
have those
know.
things out.
Mm.
So, yeah, try not to take it personally is all I say. And I try to explain that to people. It's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
this isn't
I
personal. We're just
I
packaging
know.
it up so that it looks the best to as many people as possible.
And I like you touched the point, like whatever you see in the picture has to be in reality when you walk into the house. I heard a situation when people walked into the house and the owner just cooked something, a meal. Um, I don't know. I'm not saying we are like so many cultures here, and sometimes we like to cook a little bit like different.
Yeah.
So I think I would caution, because the smell is actually very important when you walk into the house. Sometimes even
Yeah.
more than other things. The smell itself, for some
Hmm.
reason, it's scientific proven, um, lasts, and you remember what you feel and the smell more than what you saw. It's interesting, but it's the
It
reality.
is.
It's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Smells kind of
Mhm.
trigger those memories. And yeah, you don't want to have strong smells. And,
Yeah.
there's this cooking smells, or sometimes the house doesn't smell clean. But
Mhm.
there's also some people that take it a little bit too far and they like put an air freshener in every room. And I
Yeah,
advise
it's
against
why.
that too, because that can be
Yeah,
too much.
I
Um, you
know.
know,
Yeah.
boil
People are
some lemons or
allergic as
maybe,
well. Yeah, and also people are allergic. And number
yeah,
2, why do you wanna cover a smell, right? For
what are
me,
you
it's like
hiding? Yeah.
you wanna hide something. So yeah, yeah, you're right.
It's all
Should
about
pay
the
a little bit more.
experience. You wanna make the whole thing
Yeah,
come together because when
I
people
know.
come through the house, it's not like you said, it's
Mhm,
not just about the pictures. You can make the pictures look great, but you want the whole
mhm.
experience to work
Absolutely,
well
yeah,
for people.
I agree. Oh well, thank you so very much. I'm hoping we can make a series. Honestly, if we can meet once a month, maybe
Yeah.
get some insights, some news, maybe good
Mm.
news, whatever news there are. We need the news. But
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah,
check
happy
in, see what's
Friday.
going on with the market,
Ab-
share some stories.
Sure.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah,
you so very much. Thank you so very
you're welcome.
much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Take
Felicia.
care.